Now, broadcasting from the jungles of Southeast Asia, it is time for the Ed and Rock Podcast.
I'm getting pretty bad at this podcast thing. I was supposed to be doing like 2 or 3 a week, but nonetheless, I'm back. Excuse me if my voice sounds a little bit hoarse. I was screaming my ass off yesterday because the Dodgers won the pennant, and the NL West is no news. Dodgers go back to the World Series for the first time since last year. So 3 World Series appearances out of 4. Last year, they basically were defeated by the Washington Nationals, who was a wild card team, and wound up winning the entire thing. So nonetheless, congratulations to my beloved Dodgers. Game 1 is tomorrow at 5:08, 5:15, I forgot. They will be facing the Tampa Bay Rays. And Tampa Bay's been pretty hip lately, don't you think? Any God. Anyway, I believe a couple days ago, I'll turn my volume up a little bit. I believe a couple of days ago marked the 7th month of the safer at home, stay at home, quarantine, whatever you want to call it. It's been 7 months, guys. Some people have formed new habits. Some people have formed good new habits, bad new habits. Nonetheless, we have been in the pandemic technically since February, even though they knew about it before. And who I mean by they is, our government. And it's been 7 months. So a lot of people have gone stir crazy. A lot of people haven't. What more can you do? But I do know one thing. One thing is that when you have this much time in your hands and you suffer from mental health issues, which I'm no saint. I mean, I have my moments too, man. But if you're clinically diagnosed with something that requires medication, and you're vulnerable and susceptible to the power of suggestion, that's dangerous, especially if you have nothing but idle time sometimes and you don't have anything to preoccupy your time. So one thing that I came across not too long ago, and I thought it was just kind of like a spoof. I didn't think it was anything serious, but now I see it's something of concern. And don't get me wrong, there's these types of, I like to call it hypnotism in all forms, different forms, good forms, bad forms. But this one in particular really stood out. And I wanted to learn more. I just didn't know how to go about it because I don't want to go too deep into this rabbit hole, but now I'm forced to because I'm seeing it more and more. And now I have friends that believe in this stuff. And this is the scary part. I'm like, okay, so they're throwing words that I've never thought they would use. They mention some stuff that, quite frankly, I don't even know what the hell they're talking about. But one trusted media source that I like to go to that sometimes covers subjects that I want to know about is this company called Vice. And they usually do, quick pieces on stuff like that. And, there's a pro and con to every journalist, every media company. I know a lot of Trump supporters like to use MSM, abbreviated for mainstream media, and fake news and stuff like that. But bottom line is, it's always subjective. But bottom line, if you don't go and do it yourself, you're not on the front line. You're going to end up getting something that's probably regurgitated anyway or recycled. But the one thing I personally, and this is just me, that I like about Vice is these motherfuckers are frontline crazy asses. And I'll get right to the chase. So there's this thing called QAnon. I don't know what it is. I know it's I thought it was just a group, like a kind of like a chat forum or some shit. But no, this is a full-on cult. It's crazy. I wanted to learn more, but I wanted to show you as well what these people are saying, what they believe in, and I don't even know what to make of this stuff, man. This is crazy. So this is the Vice News Tonight piece that was done on QAnon, and follow along because I'm going to be pausing and delivering my own comments to this stuff. But let's see this. Okay, they had me at Florida. Oh shit, this should be good. All right, here we go. Slavery still exists. Save our children. Isaiah 54:13. Okay.
Epstein did not kill himself.
You have Oprah Winfrey inside of the islands sexually trafficking children.
Where did you read that?
Wait. You got Oprah Winfrey trafficking children. Very interesting. Let's see where this goes. And of course, she's asking him where he heard this.
We're following a Save the Children rally. We're seeing people that are wearing some hashtags that are referred to the QAnon conspiracy theory.
Wait, look at that shirt. Pizzagate is real. If you don't know what Pizzagate was, it was basically like a conspiracy theory that ultimately led this crazy dude armed and fired shots at a pizza place to save the children from being trafficked. Now, one thing I'm starting to notice with this QAnon stuff, it's making good people do bad things. So this is very, very suspicious and dangerous at the same time. But let's see where this goes.
Where we go one, we go all.
Where we go one, we go all. I see that a lot. And one thing I did notice one time is during a UFC match, one of the, I think it was a cornerman or cutman, had that. And the internet just fucking exploded, saying that there's Q followers in the UFC and whatnot. And Dana White is like, like that can't happen again. Because I know as much as Dana White is a big Trump supporter, I know he's not really with that kind of shit. So let's see.
I see that's a Q reference, right? Are you a supporter of Q?
Yeah.
QAnon is an expansive set of conspiracy theories that first popped up on the old 4chan message board in 2017. Q claimed to be an intelligence operative with information on a deep state plot.
An intelligence operative. Okay, so let's read this for a second. Q is a back channel to communicate directly to the people to the people bypassing the corrupt and controlled media. If the news is untrustworthy, corrupt, controlled, and simply an extension arm of the Democratic Party, how do you circumvent controlled lines of communication, propaganda? How do you communicate directly with the people? Back channels are important. What the fuck, dude? Let me see. Let's keep going.
What they're doing now to the kids is horrific.
Who's they?
Okay.
I'm
the
asking.
people that are stealing the kids and doing human trafficking
Who?
and hurting people. Well, I don't know exactly who. I don't even want to get into that, but there's
Here's the thing. Let me just explain something for you guys. When people say, I don't want to get into that, that means they don't know what the fuck they are talking about. Same thing with the dreaded NRA question that all the GOP and some of the Democrats too get asked. They just refuse to talk about it because, quite frankly, either A, they're bribed off, or they just really don't know anything about it. So let's keep going.
people doing it, and there's people out there doing it.
The central belief is that Democrats and celebrities are trafficking children and drinking their blood.
Wow. Listen to that. Democrats are trafficking children. Democrats are trafficking children and drinking their blood. That is fucking insane.
Q continues to drop cryptic posts called breadcrumbs for followers to use as jumping off points for research.
It's sick. It's sick what they do.
Reba Cheryl is one of more than 70 QAnon supporters who ran as Republicans in the primaries.
When Q came on the scene, I saw that this Q.
A former House candidate? What the fuck? See, that's how you know this shit's getting out of hand. You got politicians or prospective politicians buying into this shit. Wow, whoa. All right.
Was saying the same things I knew to be accurate
Which were?
about the fraud and corruption, about the human trafficking, about the treasonous acts that have been going on, the tyranny that exists in the United States and around the world. It's terrible what's been happening.
Cheryl put up $350,000 from her own pocket to fund her campaign here in Florida's 21st district, which is home to President Trump. She didn't win, but hasn't given up on her platform.
Hey, Reba, how are you?
In fact, Cheryl plans to run for Senate in 2022.
Hi, Will. How are you?
Before she could talk with us, she joined her campaign advisor for a political call.
On the phone right now are advocates for the 146 missing soldiers out of Fort Hood, Texas.
Soldiers have died at Fort Hood in individual cases of suicide and homicide, but for the people in this room, they are all connected to something more.
The belief and the working theory is that these soldiers that are missing and murdered are being used as part of a for-profit venture in a battle between the Sinaloa and Juarez drug cartels. And Sarge, correct me if I'm wrong, please. The working theory is that these drug cartels have infiltrated this very large military base, and that there is sex trafficking and organ trafficking going on with these missing soldiers.
Okay, see, that makes a little bit more sense. And that's not too far-fetched, only because I have been knowing about cartels for the longest time, since the 90s. And this is not news, man. This is not nothing new, but to think that there's some kind of like blood drinking fucking vampires, it's just absurd. Cartels I can understand because they are still around, but I don't know, man. Let's see.
Soldiers. Sarge, would you like to add to that discussion?
Yes, I would. A lot of these commands are made very well aware of these incidences on their posts, rather than
And they ignore it.
The problem is it takes time, and it's a blemish on that record.
That's just like with the child sex trafficking. We have to face it. We have to admit there's a problem, like the 12-step program. You know, the first step is you admit you've got a problem. We have a problem in Fort Hood, and this kind of shit needs to stop.
Okay, no one's saying that there's no such thing as child trafficking. No one's saying that. All right, Ray, you just commented on something. You think it's true? Why do you think it's true, though? It's not. Here's the thing. This is completely fabricated, and it's consuming people's minds, especially if you're susceptible to this kind of shit. But you and I know, man, okay, cartels are one thing. But this this whole other thing with QAnon, I don't think so, man. Let's see.
How did you find Q?
In my research and just staying on top.
Okay, in my research. Okay, she just started off with that. That's the kind of shit that I get a lot. Like, you might want to do your own research. You might want to do your own research. I'm like, even if you do your own research, it's not conclusive. Everything is subjective. Everything is up for interpretation. Just because you found something does not make it conclusive. That's the problem with this shit.
Top of things. I came across it one day when I was looking at, I don't know, some comments on Fox News. I had watched a YouTube or something. I don't really remember exactly how it first came to my attention. So, Wheeling Against Tyranny.
Is that you?
That's me, baby. Second Amendment. And then I also designed this one because I am a Trump supporter.
Many Q followers, many of the folks that are intrigued by Q, also support President Trump. What do Q followers see in Trump?
Q really focuses on sedition, focuses on treason, focuses on the child sex trafficking. These are big issues.
And how is Trump related to that?
Well, I personally, I know the man. I know that he is focused on saving these children.
One of the biggest.
He is focused on saving these children. I don't think so. I don't. Why? Look at all the look at still to this day all the ICE detainees. You think if he was worried about saving fucking children, he'd still let that shit happen? I don't think so.
Pushbacks against Q is that they're making massive generalizations and characterizations with baseless claims.
I deal in facts and evidence.
But what you believe are facts, some people believe are simply
I've
lies.
lived it. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. No, I'm a conspiracy realist. Because
I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm a conspiracy realist. So you're not a conspiracy theorist, but you're a conspiracy realist, meaning you're not theorizing that there's a conspiracy. You're basically believing and drinking the fucking Kool-Aid. You just admitted that. Conspiracy realist, you know how fucking crazy that sounds? That's like saying I'm a little bit pregnant. No, bitch, you're either pregnant or you're not.
as I only talk about the things that I know for a fact.
When you make these vague claims that they are murdering and eating the flesh of children.
They keep referring to they. Every person that I know that believes in this shit or started to think about it, they're like, they. I'm like, who is they? Who is they? Democrats, liberals. I heard George Soros. I heard fucking intergalactic fucking space demons from Mars. I heard all kinds of shit, dude. Fucking, this is crazy, man.
I would love for you to tell us what is the reality behind that.
Yeah.
Who is they?
Well, the extent of all the people that are doing it, I have no idea.
See, she doesn't even know. So why are you making claims that they are kidnapping or trafficking children and drinking their blood? I know the cartels do it. So why aren't you just saying it's the cartels, for example? That's a more credible answer because that's true. That does happen a lot. These people, man.
I have no idea.
Why is it on your campaign website?
Are hundreds of thousands of sealed indictments right now. I mean, I'm sure you remember Jeffrey Dahmer. I mean, he wasn't eating children, but he was eating human flesh. I respect life. That's why I ran as a Republican. But there are many things about the Republican Party that disgust me.
Tell me about that.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of fraud and corruption, just like on the Democrat side. They're both corrupt as hell.
Okay, that I can agree with 100%. She said something very credible, that there's corruption on both sides of the political spectrum. 100% true. That is no lie.
Is this the future of the Republican Party? Folks like yourself?
What I would love to see in politics in this country is the everyday person serving in Congress. The majority of people that are in positions of power right now are attorneys. And that's not what our country looks like.
But she wasn't the only unconventional candidate running in the president's district.
Ice cream. Come on, baby. Thank you.
Liz Felton, an exotic pet owner and former exotic dancer, doesn't consider
What the fuck? An exotic pet owner and former exotic dancer. And let me guess, she ran for office of some sort? Let's see, let's find out.
herself a Q supporter, but she uses Q as a news source.
You've never been in politics, right? Most people will see you
Okay, so she hasn't been in politics. All right, cool.
and say, this is a pretty different type of candidate. Why did you decide to run?
So what's funny is
Oh, shit. She decided to run. Oh, man. Florida strikes again, dude.
of the half dozen who ran on the Republican side, nobody was in politics. Not one of us. To me, that's promising. That means that I'm not the only person who's going, listen, the way things are going right now isn't working.
In one of your recent TikToks, you used the hashtag QAnon.
QAnon. So QAnon.
Do you believe in QAnon? Do you believe in the movement?
Well, so here's the thing. It's crazy because Q is not one thing. Q is not one
What does
person.
it mean to you?
Q is millions of people.
Okay, millions of people. Yeah. What's up, Don? Nothing, bro. Learning about QAnon, and it's batshit crazy, bro. It really is. I'm like not even halfway through this fucking video, and I'm learning that. Let's continue.
Taking stuff and fact checking it. And for a long time, we would just believe whatever the media handed us. Okay, this is the story. This is the angle of the story. And this is what people are going to get fed. And people started going, wait, that's not. And I've seen it myself with the exotic animal stuff. And it's to push somebody's agenda. When you see hashtag Q, what I wanted people to know is I know you're there. I'm listening. I'm not ignoring you. Your beliefs, your thoughts, the way you're seeing things, that's every bit as important as what people are seeing on the mainstream news. I think it's important for people to feel heard.
One of the main principles of Q, right, is that there's
a
political elite pedophiles that are part of this sex trafficking ring. Do you believe that?
I believe it's possible. And I believe
what makes you believe that?
And I believe it's worth looking into. So this is where I pulled up my notes.
Mhm.
So the first one I pulled up was Harvey Weinstein, who was convicted, right, of sexual. Okay. And so, typical Qs would say, oh, he was a Clinton donor, right?
Mm-hmm.
And her answer was that, well, he donated to all the Democrats. Huma Abedin, her husband, that's Hillary's right-hand woman, or was, her husband was convicted of sending pictures to an underage girl, a 15-year-old girl. Bill Clinton had denied being on Jeffrey Epstein's island. Pictures have just surfaced of Bill Clinton with one of the victims.
We're talking about child sex trafficking, and there's a difference between cases and making a generalization that Democrats are inciting this.
How many pedophile-ish, child trafficking-ish people do you have to have around you before people say, we should look into that? And that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that, oh, these are all facts. What I'm saying is that when you get enough questions about something, you go, well, let me look into more. I know one of the theories is that Hillary Clinton was, a Satan worshiper and, doing sacrifices with babies.
What the fuck? That Hillary Clinton was a satanic worshiper. It was sacrificing babies, dude. I just did, Don. Hillary Clinton is a Baphomet worshiping baby, blood drinking baby eater. That is fucking wild, man. Here we go.
I don't know. The only thing I could find was that Saul Alinsky made a dedication to Satan or Lucifer in his book, and she really admires his work. So that's the only connect. So unless somebody does a study.
You don't believe it?
It's a question. It's just a question. It's, I don't know. I don't know. There's a lot of I don't know out there until things are confirmed.
Tell me why you support Trump.
I like the openness. I really like the openness of the social media. Same reason I like Q. Just, it's a direct line.
She likes the openness of Donald Trump on social media, but yet this fool's retweeting some of these QAnon conspiracy tweets that are out on Twitter. That's dangerous, man. If you're basically, if you're the president of the United States and you retweet something from El Chapo, come on, man. And then just recently, this fool just backed it up saying, oh, they're just retweet because the fake news media is so fake that I couldn't get the word across. I'm like, well, what are you trying to spread, dude? More disinformation? You fucking moron, man. I swear. Oh, man.
To question everything that's going on.
The winner of Felton and Cheryl's race was Laura Loomer, a self-described proud Islamophobe. Though she's not a vocal Q follower, she used to be a correspondent for InfoWars, a site.
Oh my God. She was a correspondent for InfoWars. If you are familiar with InfoWars and its founder, Mr. Alex Jones, you would now know that this chick is batshit crazy and she's Islamophobic. Fuck, let's see.
Known for peddling conspiracies. She's now been embraced by the GOP.
I was honored on Tuesday to receive a phone call from Ronna Mc.
Oh God, she looks crazy. Look at that. You ever just see someone and you're like, yeah, she's one of those.
Daniel, the chairwoman of the Republican National Committee, who also paid me some wonderful compliments. She told me that I'm a political rock star and a change agent for the Republican Party.
In other states, unconventional candidates are hoping to get that same reception. QAnon-linked Republican candidates are on the November ballot in 11 states. The highest profile, Marjorie Taylor Greene, who posted support for QAnon online.
I don't know who Q is, but I'm just going to tell you about it because I think it's something worth listening to.
Whoa. I think it's something worth listening to. You see all the gaslighting that goes on? This is the kind of shit I'm talking about, man. I mean, look, I'm very, very apolitical with shit like this, and I'm very politically orphaned. I turned in my ballot already, but I'm not going to tell you if I voted or not for that particular part of the ballot, because you already know the answer to that. One thing I cannot wrap my head around is how even high-ranking state politicians can fancy this type of shit when it sounds like something out of a fucking Tom Clancy novel, man. This is fucking crazy. And what did Donald Trump here tweet on August 12, 2020? Congratulations to future Republican star Marjorie Taylor Greene on a big congressional primary win in Georgia against a very tough and smart opponent. Marjorie is strong on everything and never gives up, a real winner. Okay.
President Trump congratulated her and even invited her to watch him accept the nomination. During the week of the RNC, Loomer spoke at Club 45, a gathering place for Trump's biggest fans. It's also where QAnon supporters and Republicans intersect.
Why are people so afraid to?
Wait, they're wearing that Q looking thing. Isn't that what that one character from He-Man used to wear? Oh no, that's Oracle. That's O. All right, my bad.
Embrace Q.
For the stigma of being labeled a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah.
And I don't think people want to be labeled that. But if you really do enough research.
There you go. There's that thing again. If you really do enough research, you might want to do your own research. You might want to look into it. It sounds like, dude, if you guys know who Eddie Bravo is, that's who these people sound like. And Eddie Bravo at least looks into it pretty deeply. He goes off on tangents, but it's funny as hell. these people are dead serious about this shit.
which is what QAnon recommends every individual does.
Yeah.
You find out for yourself, and then you decide for yourself, which is what America is. It should be people that think freely for themselves. And
Okay, I'm not going to disagree with that. Yes, you should be thinking for yourself and making up your mind. But however, following a cult, an online cult, that's not thinking for yourself. It's not. You're basically being hypnotized by this propaganda, because that's exactly what it is. And if you guys know how propaganda techniques work, then you know anything is possible, especially with communities like this.
then decide what they want to believe.
As a Q supporter, do you feel like folks in this room support you?
I don't know. They support Trump. I support Trump.
For QAnon voters, Trump's reelection is essential.
Donald Trump is pushing towards an anti-corruption campaign. Q is also pushing an anti-corruption campaign, and they both meet in the middle of government corruption.
Sergio Michel is a Q follower who attended Club 45 to support the president. Dissatisfied with the greater GOP, he sat down with us to tell us how Q is now informing his vote.
Q has empowered and emboldened the average individual who has never looked for a conflict in their life to be out and open and outspoken about corruption.
Will those folks be voting for Trump in November?
Yeah. Yeah.
Where exactly does Q fit within the larger Republican Party?
It has a place because the Republican Party has shifted from the old school kind of country club Republican to the MAGA person who wants corruption to end. When you look at the MAGA movement, it ultimately comes down to those things are the fault of politicians who are lining their own pockets and betraying the American people. Q says that there's corruption that is enabling child trafficking and all kinds of other unholy, unseemly stuff. They are simpatico. And since MAGA has taken over GOP, okay, Q is being absorbed into MAGA, thus means that by the time the next election cycle comes, the people of Q will basically be the quintessential average right winger.
There's no doubt.
What the fuck? So if I'm not mistaken, this sounds exactly how it sounds, which is you're trying to start a new cult that eventually does grow corrupt. There's no such thing as clean politics, man. And this is crazy, dude. This is fucking wild.
QAnon's influence is growing. During the lockdown alone, QAnon Google searches spiked.
So you see, during the lockdown alone, again, what I said at the beginning of the podcast, this is, if I was this Q person, this is just plain devil's advocate. And if I know how to do this, then I'm sure they know how to do it. You prey on psychologically vulnerable people. That's what you do. You prey on them to basically, you suck them in, and that's it, dude. It goes from a rabbit hole to the core, man. It's, this I'm not surprised with.
And membership for QAnon Facebook groups surged, reaching millions. And now they're meeting up in real life.
The Q movement is about truth. Trump represents our country, and there's nothing that will keep me from voting for him.
QAnon followers were among those who gathered at the Red Pill Roadshow, a free speech event to celebrate the president's nomination at the RNC.
What we've seen so far is that MAGA and Q are completely intertwined. What started as an internet movement, right in the dark corners of 4chan or an 8chan, is starting to morph into something
that guy had a Trump JFK Jr. bumper sticker decal on his truck. Wow. That's what these people think of Donald Trump, man, the next JFK. Ugh.
As a physical aspect to it, right? It's people in a space, building a community. And the question is, how will the Republican Party embrace that?
There are people that are staunch Republicans that follow QAnon. It does not have an official role in the Republican
In your
Party.
eyes, should it?
I don't think so. It's part of where people get information from,
Yeah.
which is great.
Peter Feeman is a liaison to the Republican National Committee. He helps push the party's platform in Florida.
Does the Republican Party need their vote?
The Republican Party needs everybody's vote who's concerned about the corruption in Washington, D.C. Some of that includes people who follow Q. Absolutely. QAnon is slowly revealing things about the deep state and the swamp that people need to know. And so President Trump embraces that in some respects because he's there to drain the swamp as well.
As the national committeeman, are you willing to disavow Q?
Q is a people's movement, and whether it has a place in the Republican Party formally or not is not really the issue. Q is important because questions are being raised about the deep state.
Okay, so let me just enlighten you on what the deep state supposedly is. It's basically like let me put it into science fiction terms. It's, if you watched, for example, what's a good movie I can reference that? It's basically Thanos. I guess you could say that. The deep state is Thanos, and Donald Trump is Captain America and the Avengers. Something like that. Oh. So that's what it was, man. That is very, very interesting. And I don't know what to take from that. That's fucking crazy. That is fucking crazy. And I've also read some stuff where like, it was, I think I searched it earlier, like conspiracy theories that QAnon believes in, I think. Let me see if I can find it. And then I'll share my screen. Yeah, I think I got this one from the Wall Street Journal, and I'll share it with you guys right now. Because this was pretty interesting. And they got merchandise. That's so crazy. They got hats, they got t-shirts, they got the thin blue line fucking flags all over the place. And I'm just like, whoa, man, this is really, really bizarre, man. And let's see what these people are believing in, man. It's scary because this is exactly how Charles Manson started his cult, man. And you guys know how that ended. Let's see. So what is QAnon? QAnon is a far right-wing, loosely organized network and community of believers who embrace a range of unsubstantiated beliefs. Okay, we already know that. And okay, well, this got good. These views center around the idea that a cabal of Satan-worshiping pedophiles, mainly consisting of what they see as elitist Democrats, politicians, journalists, entertainment moguls, and other institutional figures that have long controlled much of the so-called quote-unquote deep state government, which they say seeks to undermine President Trump, mostly with aid of media and entertainment outlets. What is the QAnon conspiracy theory? This is what I'm looking for. QAnon conspiracy theory alleges that there is a battle between good and evil in which the Republican Mr. Trump is allied with the former. The fuck? That makes sense. QAnon followers are awaiting two major events, the storm and the Great Awakening. What the fuck? The storm is the mass arrest of people in high power positions who will face a long-awaited reckoning. Wow, sounds something like out of an action movie. Weird, man. The Great Awakening involves a single event in which everyone will attain the epiphany that QAnon theory was accurate the whole time. This realization will allow society to enter an age of utopia. Okay. That's how you know this shit's batshit crazy, man. So there you have it, folks. We learned what QAnon is and how batshit crazy it is. Yeah. It is Judge Dredd shit. That's exactly what it is. And for a lot of people who don't know who or what Judge Dredd is, it's a comic book hero from way back in the day, but Sylvester Stallone wound up playing Judge Dredd in the full-length feature. Damn, man, I'm really gonna have to do a follow-up on these guys because it just gets more and more crazy as I'm looking into it. But then again, I'm like, nah, do I really want to pay so much energy and time to these fucking nutbags? No, man, but it's dangerous when people start, really, really like fucking drinking the Kool-Aid, man. Like, I mean, I hate to put the homie on blast. I'm not going to say his name, but I'm going to read you guys something that really kind of like, I was like, what is he talking about? And it sounds just like these people. And I don't know, man. That's so crazy that people even like fabricate this stuff in their minds. It's like how I don't even know. Like, okay, it's one thing to fabricate something to write, like a story, a script. But when you go this deep into thinking that there's this like invisible force that's here to fucking take over your children and drink their blood and sacrifice them. Yeah, totally, Don. We have to educate. Yeah, we have to keep doing it. It's not something that is just not gonna, cure itself overnight. This is wild, man. It's like, for example, this whole COVID-19 thing has really got, people going crazy, stir crazy, man. It's like shit, dude. And I'll read you something that I posted and then the comments that followed. And this is exactly what I tweeted out and then shared on my Instagram. So I basically said it's easy for you pendejos and pendejas to call COVID-19 a pandemic when you don't work. You never leave your fucking vicinity. Talk to some frontline workers. I have a ton of them. I have a doctor in my family, for crying out loud. People who have lost loved ones, which I've known a lot of, and I've personally fucking had some people pass away too that, I was not close with, but I knew personally. And even firefighters, man, which I have in the family too. They know this shit's fucking crazy, man. It's real. Yeah, it is some Jamestown stuff, man, like Heaven's Gate shit. That's exactly what it is. So some of the comments I got from here, I mean, I'm not going to blow it up so you guys could see it, but, I had comments like, just because it kills people doesn't mean it wasn't planned. Very true. I can't disagree with that. Which goes back to the AIDS and HIV theory where, and then, I had state custodians comment saying, state custodian for the DMV right here, former mental hospital custodian. I will say this: wear your mask, wash your hands, carry sanitizing solutions if possible, wear gloves for unknown surfaces. The virus is real. And if you haven't lost a loved one due to COVID-19, This person said, I will pray for you that you don't. And that's real talk, man. No one wants to go through that shit. It doesn't. Or even catch it. And then then it went way, way fucking crazy. I had this comments that read, the pandemic is actually a divide and conquer scheme, wrapping everybody around their middle finger. Quote unquote, now you do what they told you. Rage Against the Machine. Okay. And then it follows by, there has been subliminal messaging for over 50 years that has construction. I don't know if that makes sense. That has constructed the social consciousness the way it is today. Those that see it are not affected by it, but they are also outcasted by the masses that are affected by it. This is true. This is the true coronavirus. Corona equals crown, crown equals head, head equals mind. I don't know where that's going, but I'll keep reading. And it also reads, suicide on the list of secondary conditions provided by the CDC that contributes to a person dying from COVID. How does that make any logical sense? The list of shit that makes no actual logical or scientific sense can just keep stacking. The tests themselves, you can get someone sick from 5 feet away without a mask, but they got to shove a huge Q-tip way up your nose to get the test results. Well, I've seen how they test people and why they do it. I mean, it's how else are you going to actually get to the root of the diagnostic? I mean, obviously, if that's the only way they're doing it right now and it's effective, then okay. And I mean, you probably get faster results. I know people that have gotten them the next day. And this person goes on to say, I work at a landfill where all the sucio and sucia comes from, and it's a motherfucking pandemic. And apparently I'm just watching the mainstream media and missing the whole big picture. Just mask, logic, science alone is enough to discredit this entire pandemic. It doesn't matter if you were a porous, see-through $3 bandana used to be 99 cents and better quality, or an N95 mask. If you can articulate the numbers and statistics and deduce the many coincidences that show this whole thing was premeditated via logical reasoning, then you are probably one of the many socially programmed brainwashed fearmongers saying that a person that doesn't wear a mask in public is a piece of shit. But it's okay to not wear a mask in public while eating, whether inside or outside, regardless if crowds are passing by or not. If you have not been out in society due to fear, you really do not know what's going on. Well, that's the thing, is not everyone's, people had to work, man. I know I still do. But I'll take the precaution. Why the fuck not? Why do I need to risk, my household or even myself, man? And then he goes on to talk about survivability. 99% survivability under 70%. Oh no, 99% survivability under 70. Then how do you explain all these fucking people dying, man? Yeah, I can't, dude. Like, are you there? Are you on the front lines? Are you actually seeing this shit? No, I know people that are. And no, herd immunity is not the solution. And vaccine may be, man, but I don't know why they're trying to expedite it so quickly when some of that shit takes a while, man. It's like, that doesn't sound right, dude. And I'm pro-vax too. And I'm thinking this thing is, should take its scientific time, man. Cause it's a lot of mixed feelings, a lot of mixed emotions, but nonetheless, stay safe, guys. I'll be doing a follow-up on this thing. We'll talk more about, safer at home quarantine stories or whatever, but Until then, have a great night, and I will see you soon.